Getting lean isn't hard. Becoming elite, yeah, that's pretty hard. The real reason why most men will never see 10 to 12% body fat has nothing to do with calories. It's because their identity collapses under pressure. So this is part 4 of my shred enforcement series, where effort stops being the excuse. So you go in your cut, you finally want to reach that elusive 10% body fat. Maybe you're 25%, 30%, you cut down to 20%. Congratulations, you completed the easy part. But here's the thing, getting below that mark, getting to 10% body fat requires more from you. And the reason why most men can't do it is because their standards are negotiable, not binary. So most men negotiate failure, right? The rules are not binary, it's negotiated. And this was my story for many years, where I would train hard, I would be in a calorie deficit, I'll do everything they told me to do, but I couldn't break past that 18% barrier and still look soft. It was so frustrating. And that's when I realized my standards were not being upheld under pressure, and I had to change my identity. So why getting to 10 to 12% is so difficult? Well, the margin for error disappears. Every slip has consequences. There is no room for mostly, okay? And your identity will be tested. You have to remove negotiation from the equation if you want to hit 10 to 12%. Back here again with whiteboard to break down exactly why 99% of men will never cross over to that top 1% physique. So let's get into it. So starting with the comfort zone, that's where 99% of men operate and live by, okay? And when they're trying to cross over to that top 1% physique, life, okay? Life will apply pressure, okay? We all know life is tough. It's like going 6 rounds with the prime Mike Tyson, right? It will expose your identity, okay? And your identity will either uphold the standards that you set in place, or it will collapse. And if you want to be elite, you have to live by non-negotiable standards which come from your identity, okay? When life happens, you will not falter. It doesn't matter what's thrown your way. Why? Because you have standards. Just like your standards, if you are, let's say you're a clean person, right? And you present yourself the best way, you're probably gonna, wake up, brush your teeth, have a shower, at least I hope so. And you're gonna show up in the world as a clean person, because that's your standard. It's exactly the same if you want to be a top 1% physique. And I believe every single man should know what it feels like to, at least once in their life, get to that top 1%, get to 10, 12% body fat. Because life is completely different. Everything is enhanced. I don't care what people say. They are lying to you, they are coping. Ask anyone who is at that level and they will tell you. So if you want to be elite, this is what you have to understand. And another thing is that 10 to 12% is actually not a physique goal. It's an identity filter. I came up with this once I understood, after years and years of trying and failing, binging on the weekends, going out drinking, trying again Monday, only to keep running into the same issue and not ever getting past the average purgatory, as I call it. And that's when I realized I had to shift my identity before I applied the plan to get to my goal. And that's how it works. So here's an enforcement tool within my diagnosis audit that will help you out. I want you to pause here. This is not information. This is a diagnosis. These are not trick questions. They're binary. Do your rules change based on mood? If the answer is yes, that's not discipline, that's negotiation. Do you make exceptions weekly? Because weekly exceptions don't stay small, they compound. Do social situations override physical goals? If they do, your environment is running your identity. Do you renegotiate standards under stress? Because pressure doesn't create weakness, it reveals it. If you answered yes to even one of these, discipline is not your problem. Your standards aren't enforced. This is why effort stops working at advanced levels. And this is exactly what my diagnostic is built to expose. And if this sounds extreme, it's because elite standards feel extreme to the average person. Okay? You have to operate differently if you want to be elite. Leanness doesn't reward effort, it rewards enforcement. So if you remember one thing from this video, it's that 10 to 12% body fat exposes identity. It doesn't respond to motivation. And if you're disciplined, consistently trying but still stuck, start with my diagnosis, why disciplined men still don't look elite, because it will expose your execution leaks. And I'll see you on the next video.